In this video, you will learn how you can get more organized in 2021 by implementing these 7 lists that I'm sharing with you. They are all very concrete, hands-on lists that you really should be using if you aren't already. My name is Emelie Lindström and I'm an organization freak. You know, one of those who color coordinates all their clothes. I know, it's amazing. But you don't have to be like that in order to get more organized. Organization is all about keeping things under control, and in my opinion, it's also about having easy access to information and things that you might need regularly. Having lists is a great way to become more organized and even helping you in making better decisions. Implementing these lists have helped me tremendously with my decision making and has helped me to stop wasting time on coming up with new ideas all the time, because I have them in my lists, which are in my phone, like at most half a meter away from me. I believe these lists can help you too. They're all designed to make your life a little bit easier, list by list. Okay, so let's start. The first one is about having all your recipes at the same place. I'm using an app called Paprika. Here it is. And in this app, I've collected all of my recipes that I use regularly. So everything down to like hot dog level. So everything I can come up with, I put in here, like omelets and tacos and everything, so that I don't have to think about it. So the good thing with this app is that you can just click on a recipe and then you have all the ingredients, and then you also have the directions. But the good thing is that this is so smart that you can just convert these ingredients and you can put them directly into your shopping basket. So then you can have them all saved at one place. And you can also put it in a schedule to see when you're going to do which food. So this has helped me a lot in reducing the time I spend on thinking about what food I should make and what I should be buying. Because I know in like a week we probably eat like 3 or 4 cooked meals. So I just go through my main courses and then I just choose 4 of them, put them in my schedule for next week. Let's do this on Thursday next week, so we'll do it for lunch. And then in the end, I'll have my whole meal plan here of things that I'm going to cook that week. And it's automatically imported into the grocery list, so that saves a lot of time too. And something that I have to complement this list is a list of all things that I need to complement this with, because you don't only eat the main courses, you eat breakfast, and you probably need to have some vegetables and fruit and stuff like that, and candy and chips and all of those other important things, you know. So I have a list of all of those things too, so that I don't forget anything. So I just use that and add it into my shopping basket, and then I shop everything online, so it just goes super quickly. You obviously don't have to use that app. You can use any app or list that you want, but having one that automatically can import recipes from website, which this one can do, and also has all of these nice features with adding to the grocery list and having the meal plan, it is really, really helpful. And the next recommendation for a list that I think you should have is having an adventures list. So every time someone says like, oh, you should really try and go to this place, it's really exciting, it's really fun, I write it down in my adventures list. So in the end I have a list, this is my adventure list, with places that I can visit that is just for fun, and like small adventures I would like to do in the everyday, and also some bigger adventures. So this is a great list to have when your friends are coming to visit and you think like, oh, we should do something really fun, do an activity. This is the list you go to. And another thing with this list that is really fun is that if you promise yourself that you should do at least one of these things every month, you will have done 12 really, really fun activities in a year. And like, I love these kinds of things, like escape rooms and spa and like an ice bar and a lot of those fun things that contributes a lot to my happiness. Yeah, I just think it's a really, really great list to have, and it's a good way to make sure that you're planning fun activities with your friends and family. And for yourself, that's fun too. Doing fun things for yourself, it's really not appreciated enough, I believe. Okay, so the next list that I have is a list of gifts that I can give to people. And here I have some of my closest people and like just in general people that I come up with good ideas for presents with. And I also have a general like go-to gifts for people that are having a party that you don't know as well. But this list is really, really good to have, because when someone mentions something during the year, it can be at any time, when they're they're like, oh, I really want one of these. And they're not gonna buy it for themselves, just write it down on the list, and then you have it when their birthday comes around or when Christmas comes. So then you already have a list of ideas for things that you can give them that you know that they want. Okay, so list number 4 is about restaurants to visit. This is something that I've been struggling with sometimes. When you're out with friends at town, like not so much now maybe, but when you're walking around and you feel like, oh, we should go have some nice food, but then you don't know where. And for me it's the same thing with like bars, like, oh, we should go for a drink, like where? I don't have these things in my head. They're like, I've been there and then it's out. So I have a list. I put it in my Google Maps because then when you're close to something, you can always see on the map what place is closest. And if you put a little note about it, you can see like what type of restaurant or bar or whatever it is. So then I have the lists of like cozy cafes, restaurants in Stockholm and restaurants in Malmö, because I'm also there quite a lot, and like nice bars and in some places. I think it's really good to have these in Google Maps because then they're all here in the app. So then I can just see, oh, this is this place. Here I can go to this restaurant and see like, oh, I know it's nice. Someone has recommended it to me. So every time someone recommends a bar or a restaurant or a cafe or something and say like, oh, this is really nice, you should go check it out, I add it into Google Maps and then I can just check it out when I feel like I should go somewhere. I also believe that everyone should have an errands to make list, because errands is one of those things like when you're out and about, you should probably do all the things at the same time. There's no idea in going to the food store one day and then the next day going to the clothes shop that is just next to it. If you have a list of all those things together, then you can just check that and see what you're supposed to get. I've split it up in different lists just because they're probably like different kinds of stores. But then I know that every time I'm going to get like a beauty product, then I have this whole list of things that I maybe should try to get when I'm there at the same time. So I have this with like food shopping, more kind of activities, so like go and get another key for the apartment and changing the code on my card that I pay with and things like that. So I have them in some different kinds of lists and based on what store they're in. Because I have Tick, I can also have different priorities on them. So like for clothes, I can have high priority things that I know that I really need, like shoes that I can use in the rain, and like a lot of sweaters because I don't have so many sweaters, and then other things that I don't really need, like having another pair of high heels that I barely use. They're in the no priority, so that I know that these are the high priority things that I really need and should be buying. And because I use Tick, I can collect all of the high priority purchases in an important purchases filter basically. So then I have all the important and medium important things that I should be buying in one and the same list. So that's really helpful. You obviously don't have to have this. It works with a really simple shopping list or whatever. But if you do have one of these apps, I really recommend setting it up this way, because then you can always click on the important purchases and you know what's important to buy when you're out and about. And this will save you so much time and money in not having to be at the store one day and then realizing you forgot something and then you have to order it online, pay the delivery fee, or having to go back there again. So you can do everything at the same time when you're already out in the city or close to the store. And then the last list that I really think you should have is a general packing list. How many times have you forgotten something important when you're traveling? Obviously, during COVID, we're not traveling so far, but maybe you're visiting your parents or whatever. You don't have to go far in order to have a packing list. So I believe everyone should have a general packing list that you can always have a look through when you're creating your new packing list, or if you just base everything off of this list, so that you always remember the important things. I have divided it into different sections because I don't need everything for a sun vacation when I'm visiting my father in the middle of the winter. So I have the basics tab, which is basically like computer and charger, pajamas, bed linen, and towels and stuff like that. Then I have the toiletry, so like my toothbrush and my deodorant and everything like that. I have a list for things that I should be doing if we're going away for a long time, so cleaning out the fridge, watering all the plants, and taking out the trash. And then I have special things if I'm going abroad, so like my insurance number and my passport. And then if I'm going on a sun vacation, I have all those things that I would need for one of those vacations. So that is also a really good list to have so that you don't forget anything when you're going away. I hope you will implement some of these lists. As you can see, I have them all and I'm using them constantly. Well, obviously with exception for the restaurant lists and the adventures list during COVID, because we're not going anywhere. But I really recommend you trying out one or several of these lists. If you're interested in more organization, productivity, personal and professional development videos, I really recommend you to subscribe to my channel for more content about exactly that. So now, have a great day everyone, try to get more organized, and I'll see you next week.